Okay, so all right, so welcome to the second part of the presentation this evening for our class. This is economics 11125, macroeconomics, CRN 23161. All right, so first thing first, let us look at our e-classroom and get familiar with that. So let me make this a little larger. So this is what the e-classroom looks like. I'm hoping that most of you have navigated here, so give me some feedback in terms of how many people have in fact come back, come into this space. Um, so I'm interested because I don't have a lot of forum discussions in this class. I just have one forum discussion. So as you can see, the top here kind of describes what the course is going to look like in terms of the assignments that we're going to have. All right. So things you want to look for, these are your textbooks here. If you click on this, it'll take you to a number of textbooks here that you can download. I would recommend that you download all of them and just, put them in your little library that your online library that you have. That way you can, access the readings and stuff like that. That's the course resources. This document here, we're going to go through in more detail. This is the course calendar with assignment details. We're going to be doing that. There's some how to do citation and referencing in MS Words. This is a link here to a video that will help you for citation purposes if you are still having issues with that. Um, this here is our link to our classes for every Wednesday. And you'd see the start time is 5:30. We're looking at for these. And this is the link to the WhatsApp class chat group. Now, has everybody joined the chat group? From what I'm seeing here, I am seeing so far we have 21 members, so we still have some people who have not yet joined the WhatsApp chat group. I would encourage you guys to all join the WhatsApp chat group because it's the best way for us to communicate with each other quickly. And I will be sending the link for the online class link there on a regular basis. Has anybody not been able to join yet? Or haven't joined yet? Well, some people haven't, so please kind of get on top of that if you can. All right. All right, so let's go back to the page here. So this is course resources and the links for our sessions. The next area is assignment submission portals. So we have our online graded discussion forum. The deadline for which is March the 17th. All right. These are the Turnitin portals. This is where you'll be submitting to get your assignments down to the required citation requirements. Anybody can remind me what citation requirement is or similarity rating is required? What percentage we're looking for?
15%.
15% across the board. All right, that's very good. So once you've done that, we'll then submit your final draft into these portals here. The individual, the budget, the written group project, and the PowerPoint presentation project. All right, so this section here is only your submission portals. Then we start with our units. So the unit has a descriptor that is describing all of the learning outcomes for the unit. There's a PowerPoint presentation here that is provided for you for the overviewing all of these learning outcomes here from the course, as well as the chapter readings for it. And well, I didn't put any I didn't put any videos here for this one, but there are some videos you could use, I guess. So these are the chapter readings here from the Sloman, and this is from the other text that you could download as well. and keep it separately. So you always speaking about readings and stuff, so I've provided as much information as possible. Then we have the quizzes. So there are a number of quizzes for each unit. Will have quizzes. So you'd find that once you do the quiz, once you click on it and you start the quiz, these quizzes are open already. They were open since the start of the semester and they shut down by the 19th of May. Um, you're allowed in each quiz, you're allowed a number of attempts. So the idea here would be for you to try and get the best score possible from your quizzes. All right. Um, so the idea is review your content, then tackle the quiz. You have more than one attempt, so you could maximize your scores in the quizzes as you move through the units. So we go from unit 1 to unit 2, 6, and 7. So this unit covers a number of different topics: national income, balance of payments, exchange rates, inflation, unemployment. Um, this has this the readings for this are similar to previous readings because there's an overlap between this topic and other topics below. So there's some overlapping that's done with them. This one has a number of different videos that you can utilize to explain or look at in addition to the readings and the presentation. And once again, a quiz is found down here. There are some other additional videos you can look at here, um, looking at some interesting stuff that's available for you. All right, then this is unit 3, income determination. This is probably one of the most important units, and will probably take the most amount of your time because it covers a lot of critical concepts for macroeconomic analysis, especially when we're looking at the Keynesian approach to economics. All right. Um, so again, there's a lot of readings that are identified for you from John Sloman, as well as this PDF here from one of the textbooks. Then there are a number of videos for you to go through, and of course, closing that off would be your quiz, and then some additional information here that you can look at. You don't have to look at these; these are optional, but the ones above, I would recommend you look at them. All right. So this unit here is probably going to be the one that is most challenging. So content from here is going to be evaluated in more than one area. Besides the quiz, there's also the content from here is also going to be evaluated in the forum discussion, and we'll get into the details of that. Then we have money and banking, same format, learning outcomes identified, PowerPoint with the uh, information from the readings and stuff, the specific chapter readings, and a couple of videos to help you with that, and a unit quiz. Then we have government policy or public finance. We sometimes refer to this as fiscal policy. Um, and these, again, same format. So everything should be, fairly straightforward in terms of how everything's laid out. Then we have Unit 6, which is International Environments Part 1. This one deals with trade and balance of payments. Again, same format, PowerPoint, different videos for you to look at, and readings for that section, and then a quiz. And then we have Unit 6, Part 2, which is International Environments, um, broken into this area of exchange rates and globalization. So those are the things that are coming up here. And you have, again, international PowerPoint, readings, and various videos, and that's the end of it. So there's generally 7 units, but one unit is 2 areas that's broken up into more manageable bite-sized pieces. All right. Any questions so far about what you're seeing on the e-classroom? All right, no questions? No,
No,
everybody's
sir.
okay? All right, so this is the document that you would have downloaded. This is the course outline with assignment details. Let me make this as big as possible so you can see it better. All right. Okay, so basic information that's provided. Um, and this would include the um, you know, prerequisites, prerequisites, different types of activities that's going on, description of things. This area here is all my communication information, emails, and as it says here, Gmail is only if there's a problem with the other email addresses, because I have two Costard accounts. I have one phone contact, which is you can contact me via WhatsApp, leave voice notes, leave messages, either privately or within the class group chat, and that way we can communicate a little more effectively. Um, you generally, you can put your messages out as soon as you want. It depends upon. I'll try to respond to them within 24 hours or so. All right. As I said, on a weekend, you can read this up in terms of my communication policy. Um, I don't have a problem chatting with students online or chatting with them via phone. I will call you all and that type of stuff. All right. Okay, so this is a course description of what's going to go on. Um, Again, you can look at this. This kind of describes what the whole course is all about, how it's designed and what its purpose and function is, its rationale, goals, objectives. Again, lots of information here that you can read. The various domains that the content or learning outcomes address. Um, so, and how it relates to the program that it's sitting in, which is generally going to be the BBA in business administration. But all of them kind of sit together with each other. So, so this one is interesting because these kind of detail the assessments that are going to be utilized and which learning outcome it addresses. So the first activity is a self-directed independent research. So this is a formative assessment. You are going to be doing some research and it's going to count for 20% of your final grade. All right, that's an individual paper that you're going to be working on. Then you have, now there are 5 quizzes I'm going to take, but there are 7 units. So I'm taking the best 5 out of 7, and that will count for 25%. So at the end of each of these units, the 6, 7 units that are there, you will have a unit quiz, and I'm going to take the 5 best. I think the 5 best from it. Then we have a discussion forum, that's 5%. That discussion forum is going to be based primarily on elements coming out of the the area that I was talking about, determination of national income, which is probably the trickiest part of the course. And then we have national budget analysis. Somebody's trying to get back in. Welcome back, Ms. Williams. We're looking at the course outline at this point in time. All right, so this is the other activity here. For 20%, you have some analysis of the latest budget, and you can see which learning outcomes they look at. And then we have the group research paper, which is a group-based activity in which you're doing some analysis of a country from a macroeconomic perspective. In the previous course, you would have done it from a micro. In this case here, you'll be doing it in a macroeconomic perspective. And it's a 30% assessment, but it's broken into 2 elements. 20% for the actual written paper, 10% for your presentation. All right. So we need to probably get into some more details. So you can read up all about these things here. This is an analysis of the assignment in terms of its association with the varied learning outcomes for the course and its relationship to the to the program. All right. This here speaks to methods of teaching, which you can look at on your own. So the area that you probably want to pay attention to most importantly and do the most amount of extraction is this area, which is the course calendar. So today we're dealing with what's happening today, which is the 31st, introduction and course overview. That's what we're on to now. So you'd see that today is our first online session on the 31st of January. Now, we're not going to have sessions every week. So the concept, and in some classes you might have sessions every week. In this one, you're kind of working on your own. During that time frame, what's happening here is I've laid out a schedule that guides you in terms of how you should be looking at the subject matter and the deadlines by which you should try and get these done. Now, they're not cast in concrete or stone, so you should, look out for those things. So I expect, however, that during the semester I will be meeting with you periodically to check in with you on. And one of the ways I do that is I run a poll on the WhatsApp thing, and I'll ask how many people would like to have a meeting session to kind of go through things. Um, and I could call extra sessions based upon how things are going, but there are a couple of sessions I will call mandatory sessions for us to get together and have a chat about what's taking place, and kind of follow up on things that they're going through. So as I said, each unit is given a date and deadline. So income determination, I'm looking at maybe between the 28th to the 6th of March. That should be enough time for you to tackle that unit. Now you'd see here on the 17th of March, the online forum discussion should be put in. Um, Again, it's 5% of your final grade, but it's one of those little niggling things that can make the difference between an A and a B, or B and a B plus, or A and a B plus kind of thing. Um, Although it's just a small amount of marks. But my instruction to you would be, try and get cracking with these things as soon as possible. All right, so the deadlines for assignments are highlighted. Um, the individual assignment comes up on the 7th of April as a 20% assignment. So off the top, you have 5% for the forum discussion, 20% for the first individual assignment. That should be done by the 7th of April. Then while that's going on, March, you have money and banking. I'm thinking you should be doing that. Then the following week. So basically a unit a week kind of thing, is what I'm saying to you guys. You should be looking at to try and get these things out of the way. I expect that by the 20th of March, we should probably do another session just to do a check-in and see how things are going with everybody. Um, the 8th session, you'd be looking at 27th of March, then international environments, the 3rd and the 10th, that's weeks 9 and 10. So I'm giving you that kind of time frame to deal with that. The 17th of April is a must-do session. We must get together because we are going to be doing some analysis of the activities that you are looking at from there. Now, I've set the fiscal policies project as the 5th of May. Now, for those of you who are aware, the classes shut down in April, right? So you all are familiar with that, when the semester ends, correct? You all have the academic calendar, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
when does the classes end? So let's look at that. Classes end on the 28th of April. Now, my grade deadline for inputting grades is the 26th of the month. You all will have exams the following week for those classes that you have a final exam. So my thinking is that I want to use some of that time to give you all some extra time to be able to pull your stuff together. That's why the deadline for the fiscal, what you call your journal, your budget journal, is after classes have ended. You'll still be able to put it in. You can still contact me during that period, up to that period, and you can get your stuff in. All quizzes will close on May the 19th. That's your last opportunity to do quizzes that you haven't done before. All right. Your group project submissions will be also submitted by the 19th of February. But your project will be presented on the 24th. That's the last teaching week of the semester. So your group project, between your presentation and your written work, there's a fair amount of time for you all to, pull together that final draft of your group project. All right. Now, the things are kind of scattered around. So what I did is I put together um, all your assignments due dates in a summary thing here, so that you can kind of see the flow of things. So your forum discussion is March. Individual assignment 1 is the 7th of April. The group presentation, that is a live presentation, is the 24th of April. The budget journal assignment, the 5th of May. The group written project by the 19th of May. And um, the units, the quizzes are also closing on on that time frame as well. All right. Okay. So far so good, people. You look. What I tried to do is, because what happened is we've shortened the semester to 12 weeks, but I want to take advantage of that little gap between when classes close and exam week to give you all a little extra time to work on um, to do your assignments and not be too sandwiched, because you kind of have to work on the material first before you can actually tackle some of the content and do some of the assignments. All right. I don't know how you all feel about that. How do you guys feel about this um this schedule of activities? Because we can make changes based upon recommendations coming from the class at this point in time. I kind of went through and I was looking at it and I was saying, listen, I want to give you all some space to be able to do some things. I know it looks a little confusing, but let's try and make sure we understand the way it's set up. All right. Any questions about this? Any queries? I hope I have questions and queries about this. Talk to me.
So no questions from me. I believe you have said to benefit us and to give us more time, and
Well,
that like
yeah, well, that's my objective. I mean, the idea is to try and make things manageable for you all and not make it like the end of the world kind of situation. Um, that's my thinking. Because I know it can be overwhelming, because the content in this material is kind of heavy, and therefore I really don't want you all panicking too much. But at the same time, you don't want to sit back and procrastinate. The deadlines are set up there for you to kind of guide your activities through the course. Um, so I know some people have already started to look at these things and probably started to work on it. Um, so in terms of the deadlines themselves, I'm hoping that they work in your favor kind of situation. Um, all right. Any questions there so far? Nobody? No? All right. So
No
let's start
question.
to okay. So let's start to look at the specific assignments now. This is your reading resources, policies. You're all familiar with most of this stuff here. So let's start to look at the assignments themselves. So this is a graded online forum discussion for 5%. Um, so this is, you're required to submit in a forum discussion. You all are familiar with that. The e-classroom has that forum discussion here. So you have the link. When you click on it, these are the same questions that are in the document that I have also put here for you, just in case. Let's see. Interestingly enough, I have some forum discussions in my microeconomics class, and people from that class have already started submitting um, discussions, and I haven't had my first class with them yet. That's to tell you how much of a set of overachievers we have there. But let's look at the assignment itself. Okay, so you're required to submit uh, responses to the questions down below with appropriate citation. So you just can't submit it like a chatting with somebody kind of situation. It's really a matter that you are discussing this in a academic manner with cited sources of information to support your response. Now the questions are fairly straightforward. All right, so it gives you this case study here. So we could change this to whatever year, but let's leave it at 2017. So in the last 2 years, faraway land in the Pacific Ocean has been experiencing double-digit inflation. So faraway land is an imaginary place, right? In 2017, the inflation rate was 18%, while in 2018, the inflation rate rose to 25%. Economists have stated that this may be the result of the country suffering from an inflationary gap. Your best friend who lives in faraway land knows you are currently completing a course in macroeconomics and has thus contacted you to obtain clarity on this. She asks you the following questions. What is an inflationary gap? Briefly describe the two symptoms displayed in an economy that is experiencing an inflationary gap, and identify the three strategies that can be implemented to resolve an inflationary gap. All right, so clearly you can see a kind of breakdown in how the marks are going to be allocated. So your explanation of what is an inflationary gap gives you 2 marks. Now, interestingly enough, in this discussion, you will come across a number of diagrams that will be utilized to assist in your explanation, and I expect that you'll be utilizing a combination of the diagrams um, as well as discussion to be able to do it. For those of you who have the capacity, there's a third way to explain inflationary gaps and such like that. Anybody's willing to take a chance with that? Um, you're free to do it, and it requires the use of advanced calculus. All right. So if you want, you could utilize that form as well if you are comfortable with the mathematics of it. But the diagrammatic and the discussion should be sufficient for the nature of this assignment. So basically, you're doing this discussion, you're submitting it onto the e-classroom as your contribution and responses to the questions. Then you need to look at least one of the students' contribution and comment and critically evaluate their discussions or their submissions to the post. All right, so that it's a two-part thing. One, you do your own response, which is a graded activity, and for completion of the assignment, you have to comment critically on somebody else's contribution. So you're kind of evaluating one of your colleagues' um, um, contributions to the same forum discussion. We clear on this forum discussion, and this is due when? I would say the due date on this is, what's the due date on this? Right, here it is, 17th of March. Cool with that? So you see the breakdown here. Content, 25 marks. Your critique of a colleague's response, 5 marks. Grammar, spelling, 2. Citation, 1 mark. Response structure, which is how you design your paper, 2 marks. So everything's kind of marked out of 25, 30, 50, 40 marks. All right. So then it's broken back down into percentage out of 100, which is then re-expressed as a percentage out of 5. All right. Don't worry about the mathematics. Everything's set up as an automatic response. All right. There is a rubric here that gives you a breakdown of what we're looking for and how the marks will flow based upon the assignment itself. So the rubric should give you some clarification as to what we're looking for a very good response. All right, broken down by the areas that we're looking at here. Okay, any questions on this? You all spoke a lot about doing forums before, so from a previous class, so some of you have previous experience with this, so you'd understand the nature of doing an online academic forum discussion. That makes sense so far? Now, obviously, the content that you need to cover to deal with inflationary gaps and inflationary gap strategies comes from that section of the course that I spoke about with you, which is the unit on income determination, which is where we start to get into the Keynesian theories and the classical approaches to things, and you need to cover that material in some detail before you can really, give a sort of analysis to this question. All right, so it's related to that unit for that. So far, so good. So that's the forum discussion. Any questions on that one?
No questions, sir.
All right, all right, cool. All right, so this here is the first individual assignment for 20 marks. Again, this is an academic paper. These are the learning outcomes it's going to be checking or testing. So again, it's not a topic that, well, it's a part of a topic that comes out of the same unit that I was speaking about, but it also marries a few other topics from the international environments area that we're looking at. Okay, so you could read through this, but let's look at the assignment. Due date for this is the 7th of April. All right, so again, we're looking for similarity score of no more than 15%. Make sure all your papers follow the EPA requirements for academic papers. That academic requirement it's described here. The font style should be Times New Roman or Arial, but it should be a large size. There should be line spacing of at least 1.5. I would say double line spacing or 2.0 line spacing is a better setup. APA or Chicago manual style, I would say go with APA. That's the easier one to utilize. Make sure you have title pages, contents pages, page numbering. That's important in terms of setting up your document because this is a fairly lengthy assignment. All right. The questions that you're responding to are these here. Don't worry about the 125 marks. Again, it's going to be broken back down into 100% weighting, and then the weighting for this is 20%, so the conversion is there. So you'd see a set of questions here on inflation, a set of questions here on unemployment, another set of questions on trade, and that's it. Each of those questions carry a certain amount of marks, and then the balance of your marks will then, for the 125, so this 40 and 40 is 80 plus 40 is 125. So you also have marks for assignment, the way in which your assignments are set up and that type of stuff. So again, you'd notice that this assignment crosses a number of different units, which include trade, unemployment, and inflation, for you to be able to respond to these questions. Okay, so straightforward there. There's a rubric here in terms of what the expectations are in terms of getting your scores. And that's basically it for this assignment. Any questions on this assignment? These are to be done on an individual basis, but of course, within your groups, you can, if you're all having challenges with any content areas, you could reach out to your other friends in class or myself to get clarification on things. So you're kind of on your own a lot in this class. Huh? So it's you on the content, and if you're having issues, you need to reach out to me or to other people or look for other sources of information. So the third assignment this is the one that I set up for the due date for this is in May, which is after classes are finished. So in this one, what you're going to take is you're going to take the latest budget speech or presentation in Parliament, and you're going to you're going to select one fiscal measure from it, and you're going to evaluate that fiscal measure in the context of a set of questions that are going to come up in the assignment. Again, it uses the same form of APA format, double line spacing, clear font, all the same things that makes up an academic paper. Turnitin, we're required to submit that through the Turnitin thing. You don't need to include the budget speech with it, but you'll be quoting stuff from the budget speech and other elements that you'll be able to utilize. So the questions would be based upon the fiscal measures. In your own words, explain the fiscal measure and describe the problem or problems that it is intended to address. What is the relationship between this measure and any three macroeconomic concepts discussed in the class so far? So you have to make a relationship now between the fiscal measure and other macroeconomic concepts and map out that in a fair amount of detail, that relationship. How does this measure impact or affect your life as an individual? So here you're doing some analysis of real time, because this is an existing budget. These are policies that are likely to impact you or your family at this point in time. Um, and you need to look at it from the position of an individual. Identify and describe three benefits that Trinidad and Tobago may experience from the implementation of that policy. Identify and describe three negative consequences that Trinidad and Tobago may experience from the implementation. So you're looking at, again, the the good of the policy and the negative. Again, critical analysis of this fiscal measure. Do you think this fiscal measure is necessary? Please provide an explanation to support your response. So here now you're doing a objective analysis of the type of policy that the government has selected, and because the budget has gone off since last year, since September of last year, it is one that's been put in place. So it's something that you can evaluate given current information and current rollout. And then here, discuss whether the fiscal measure will or will not succeed in addressing the problems identified. Provide two reasons to support your position. So whether or not you think it's going to successfully deal with the issue that it's tackling, you need to give reasons as to whether you think it will or won't. And you have to support your response, not with rum shop economics, but with, you know, data and, information provided from various sources and stuff. And again, citation here is going to be important. Now you realize that this is a lot of work based upon the real world. So the no textbook can give you these answers. You have to actually look at the policy and start to read of that policy across the board. So the first thing you need to do is obviously get a hold of the budget speech and read it and look at the fiscal measures that the government select one you'd like to do an in-depth analysis of and do this type of work for it. That you're following what you're following what I'm talking about here, and or asking you to do here.
Yes, sir. Follow it.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a 20% assignment, and this is why I'm giving you all until after classes to submit this, because this will require some additional work, and your group project is going to be in kind of interrupting your research for this. So you kind of have to, put things in place for it. All right. So there's a rubric here that goes through how we're going to put going to mark these things in relation to the various parts of the questions that we're giving scores to. All right, so you can go through that. That should give you some idea of what we're looking for and how we're going to be dealing with it. All right. Next, we have the final group project, which is overall 30%. So here we're going to be putting you guys into groups of 4 to 5. This class has 26 students, I believe. So one of our groups is going to be a little bigger. Um, um, yeah, one group will look at groups of 5 and one group of 6, and we'll see how that works out. Miss Stewart, do you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's bring this back up. Okay, so the first thing we have to do with this is we're going to have to put you onto groups. You all are going to select a country that you're going to want to do some macroeconomic analysis about. Once you've chosen the the country and you start doing your research, you're going to look at you know uh, doing this research and doing a paper on it, much like what you would have done for microeconomics. So it'll start off with some general information about the country, its size, its population, its key areas, that type of stuff, all that kind of culture and government and that type of stuff. So you'd see all that type of stuff identified here in the instructions, okay? And then of course with any kind of assignment, you have to do a conclusion as well, all right? Again, same kind of formatting for the paper itself that you're going to put together and submit. And there's some links in here in terms of citation requirements and whatnot. All right. Again, we're looking for 15% maximum similarity rating, so that should help. The presentation that you'll do is 20 to 25 minutes um, of each group presenting their findings from their research to the class in an informative and enjoyable manner will be useful. Now, what I want to do is I want to get the presentations done before the actual paper is submitted. Why? Because based upon your presentations, I'll be able to help you with whether or not you're having any major issues with the thing. So your final paper is something that you will put together and submit by the 18th of May, but you'll be presenting in April your findings. So you can kind of do a kind of reverse thing. You could work on your presentation first, pulling this stuff together, and then finalize the actual write-up afterwards with the guidance that I'm going to give to you after your presentations are submitted. So it's a little kind of reversed there, but it still requires that the groups and teams work effectively to kind of get all this information together. All right, so what are the questions that we're looking at here? Um, so there's some resources for the different questions. These links here will work straight off of this page. You can look at it. This is the marking scheme for things. So you notice a lot of marks. Don't worry about that. Just pay attention to what you're doing, and you could work with that. All right. So the specific instructions project should include an introduction and conclusion. The introduction must provide an overview of the country being discussed. The overview should explain the demographics of the country, such as its location, size, population size, culture, food, clothing, distinctive holidays, language, dominant religions, type of government system, who is the current leader of the country, interesting places to visit, and interesting facts about the country. All right. The introduction discussion should be no more. Well, that just tells you how much it should be. On an average, that's about 800 words. 4 pages is about 200 per, per page, kind of thing. The conclusion, on the other hand, which should be no more than two, because in the conclusion, you're kind of just wrapping up and pulling things together. So these are the specific questions that you're going to be analyzing the country. Now, again, you are analyzing the country based on the following questions. What is the country's history of its currency? Describe the currency that is currently being used in the country. Identify and describe the type of exchange rate system utilized in this country. So this deals with money and finance and exchange rates. All right, question 2, and these are some links for that. Identify one integrating body to which the country belongs. Please provide a brief explanation of what that integrating body is. Identify and describe two roles, reasons for the integration, for the integrating body's existence or vision and mission of this integrating body. So kind of giving you a little more specifics about identify and describe two roles of this integrating body, which you can find in their vision and mission statements, or why the integrated organization exists. Identify and describe two functions of the integrated body. Now, there's a difference between why it's brought together as opposed to what it actually does. So those are kind of things. So things like CARICOM, the European Union, all those kind of things will be um, integrating bodies on an international basis. You can probably choose your countries from. Question 3, identify and describe 4 macroeconomic problems experienced by this country over the last 10 years. For each problem identified in Part A, explain 2 strategies that can be used to address it. Use data to support your answer. Now, this has to be actual problems that the country has. Now, macroeconomic problems fall into the areas of employment, inflation, um, development or lack of development, foreign exchange issues, or balance of payments issues. Those are these kind of 6 areas that they fall into, that they will have a macroeconomic problem with. Other than some other things that come up, like for example, they could also be suffering from macroeconomic issue like aging populations, that kind of thing. Based upon the type of country that you get into, they have specific issues that they face. So you have to do some analysis of their economic life, because you're looking at 10 years of their thing, 10 years of their at least the last 10 years of existence. So you're going to have to be looking at data from that information going back at least 10 years. All right, that takes us to question 4. Collect 10 years of import export data for this country, represented in a line or bar chart or graph. This data can be collected from the World Bank Indicator website, which is above here. Um, so you can get that from there. You could also get it from the IMF as well. Um, they also have that. So basically, part A here is just to collect the data. Part B of that question is to analyze what is that data talking about or saying about the country over that 10-year period. So you're analyzing the import and export data, whether the imports are rising, falling, they're leveling off, what's happening with them. Um, is it that they start to experience surpluses or deficits? What's happening? Um, so you're looking at their pattern of trade for that period, that 10-year period. Describe the trade balance observed. So the trade balance would be whether they have surpluses or deficits in their trade balances, and what is the implication, two implications of that particular balance, trade balance that they're experiencing. So if you do reading, you'd realize that deficits cause different issues for a country than surpluses. Surpluses can also have negative and positive results as well. So notice we didn't talk about them being negative or positive. So you could use a combination thereof. All right, that you can discuss and explain in that particular thing. The next section again is this is more data collection. Collect 10 years of data, 10 years of GDP and GDP growth rates data for the country represented in a line or bar chart, and you can get again from the same data source here. You go there, you collect the data and whatnot, you pull the data, and then you have to analyze this data. Take that same GDP and GDP growth rates and look at the trends and patterns you're seeing. Is it rising? Is it falling? Is it leveling off? What's happening with it? So you're doing a statistical analysis of the data as well, similar to what you did in the import and exports. All right. Then you're going to be, in analyzing your data, state if the values are increasing or decreasing, fluctuating, remaining stable over the 10-year period. Highlight the trends, which means highlight the top ends and the deepest drops and that kind of stuff. Provide 2 reasons for the trends observed in the GDP and GDP growth data. So here now you have to actually look at that country and say, okay, this is what we see happening, but why is it happening? What was going on that caused this particular issue? Now, that's something that you're going to have to, again, for the specific country that you're evaluating, you're going to have to pay attention to that particular element of information, and try and look at what was taking place in the economy or internationally during the period in which those figures are showing those particular trends and patterns. Okay? All right, so now describe any two, part 6 here. Describe any 2 strategies that can be used in this country to stimulate growth, as well as any 2 strategies that can be used to stimulate development. Please ensure you include in your discussion your reasons for these selections. So again, it has to be policies you think that country can utilize, based upon your economic analysis of the country. It can't be straight out of the textbook kind of policies, although the textbook can guide you to the type of policies they can utilize. But you have to examine the country and become very familiar with its economic makeup, so that you'll be able to look at what is reasonable for the country to utilize to stimulate growth, as well as strategies to stimulate development. So those are 2 different indicators that you need to be looking at. And here you're looking at strategies that you think the country can utilize to deal with those issues there. Question part 7 has to do with the coronavirus. Describe the impact of the coronavirus had on households and firms in this country, or, or, or on at least 2 industries in the economy of that country. So we're not holding you to households and firms. Um, you can look at households and firms in general, or you can look at 2 industries, 2 specific industries in the economy. All right, so most countries have multiple industries that operate in this economy. So um, they may have a, like, if we look at Trinidad, we have a tourism sector, we have a oil sector, we have a oil and energy sector, we have the gas sector, we have an agricultural sector. What happened in those sectors during the COVID season? What and how it ended up, what impact it had on its activities there. All right. So again, the country that you select is going to be important to pay attention to what was taking place there. So some research obviously is necessary for that. So your presentations of this information for 10% of the marks will be due on the 24th of April, but the written project is due by the 19th of May. All right. Again, all online submissions for that. So there's a little gap between your presentation and your written project presentation. Um, do not submit the PowerPoints until after your presentations are completed. So do not submit them before the 24th. I need to see everything before you submit those things. And I'll be recording your presentations um, so that I can have evidence of your projects and stuff like that. All right. Any questions on this? This one is a lot of work.
No, sir. It seems straightforward.
Yes, but it's still a lot of work.
Yes, it is.
One question first.
Yes, sir.
Yes, question 7 right here.
Mhm.
It talking about the industries in the economy that the writing on it. Some of the examples that we used, actually all of the examples that we used was sectors, all right? Mentioned several sectors in the economy. However, if I, for example, want to actually speak to an industry, well, let's say the food and beverage industry, or the transport industry, or the entertainment industry,
Uh-huh.
would that apply here? This question.
Yes. Any industry that is an active generator of income and production in a country will let's suppose you're dealing with a, well, let's suppose you're not dealing with Trinidad, but you're dealing with a European country, or maybe even the United States. Those sectors that you're talking about are valid sectors. In Trinidad, they may be minor sectors, but in other countries, they're big. They're much larger, and they do generate a lot of income and output. Okay, so yes, they can be significant sectors of the economy.
Very
So
well.
again, it has to do with the country you're dealing with. These questions are generally non-specific, but once you select a country and you decide to utilize that in that country, then the question becomes more pointed in its analysis.
Understood.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So peer evaluation. Now, I don't want you to be using peer evaluation, but peer evaluation is something I find is very punitive in nature. But it's going to be here. This is the peer evaluation rubric here. How this works would be that if a group has problems, I will ask all the group members to submit a peer evaluation form. That's this form here. And you will score everybody else but yourself in these 25 categories or 25 questions here, with a maximum score of 4 and a minimum score of 0.
So that's
If
only if the group have problems.
only if the group has problems.
Okay, very well.
All right, I will tell you that's the case. But to head that off, if groups are having problems, you need to bring it to my attention so that I can help you deal with the issues. You don't want to leave it until the last minute and then you're struggling with issues going on there. That makes sense. What I want to do is to help your groups navigate through the issues that they're having. If people are not responding, let me know. I will reach out to them personally myself and find out what's going on with them. That makes sense? The idea is not to abandon you to your group work. And I'm going to be constantly be on your tails asking you what's going on with the group, what's going on with the group, that type of stuff. All right.
Okay, that's understandable.
Right. You see, one of the things that I've found in Costa is that a lot of people give group work. In fact, most courses have group activities, but the lecturers divorce themselves from the group and make and give you the entire responsibility. But what happens when things go awry is that you need help, right?
Yes.
And one of my functions as a lecturer is to help you deal with the issues that you're going to come across. Okay. All right. So again, we have rubrics again provided in the appendix here for the marks and how the marks are going to be allocated per question in the assignments across the board. This is for the written element here. Okay. And then we have another rubric. Um, so it's a big rubric because of the number of questions. It's broken down per question, as you can see here, right? Sometimes it's even more tedious to read the rubric than it is to anything else. And then there's a simpler rubric here for your presentation, because it's three areas we're looking at: content, presentation skills, and citation. And this is where we're looking at how we're going to break it down in terms of that. All right. So far, so we're okay with the group projects, right? We understand at least what's going on there. We have some work to
Yes,
do.
sir.
Yes, sir. All right. That brings us to our last piece of assessment, which is unit quizzes. And as I said before, there are 7 units, of which I am taking your best 5. So if you could get 5, 10 out of 10s, that means you will get 25% of your fine in your thing. So you won't have to worry about if you score 8 or 9. But I'm giving you all different quizzes for different units. But I'm taking your best 5 scores. All right. So as it says here, there are 7 unit quizzes. Your best 5 will be utilized to contribute to your final grades. So each quiz consists of 10 multiple choice questions. You have 20 minutes to do it, and you will have at least 2 attempts at each quiz. All right. The quizzes are all open already, and they will all close on the 19th of May. Do not leave your quizzes for the last minute. I have had people, for whatever reason, they never did a quiz. And 25% is, if you don't do your quizzes, you're going to fail the course. And that's how a lot of people fail courses, by not doing some of their activities and assignments. That's generally what causes students to fail, at least in my class. If you are having problems of a personal nature, reach out and talk to me. Let me know what's happening. Maybe I can provide some assistance to you. If you are having an issue and you're in a group, you're in some group or the other, and you're having issues, let your group know you're having issues, because again, we can't. This course is designed for you to be able to do things together, not all by yourself. All right, it's important to understand that as a class, we will get through this together. If we insist on isolating ourselves, we are going to fail. All right, so this is not only about you getting an A, it's about the class collectively getting good grades across the board. And I would like to see as many of you as possible get an additional A in your transcripts. All right. So with that admonition, let's get to the next stage, which is let us form some groups. Right. So now I can auto create groups, or you all can choose to um, to All right, so I'm gonna create. We have what, five. Okay, so I'm gonna create 5 groups. Group one.
All right, sis. Is
Hold up,
that
selector. Just now, hold on. Let me finish this. You're seeing what I'm doing here, right? I'm creating 5 groups, and then we will start to populate groups. Okay. Yes, Dover. You have some people you wanna message them in the group now. Make sure they want to work with you before you start. Group 4, I think. And create group 5. Okay, so out of necessity, because we have 26 people in class, one group will have 6 people in it, which can be a little bit nerve-wracking. So, Jason, you already started the whole thing. Um, did you contact your folks yet?
um not private, yes, but
All right.
Nakitos.
So I'll add you to group 1. And who else wants to be with Jason?
So I work with Lisa last semester, so I can get
Okay, so what's your name?
Shireen Rupnaran.
Shireen Rupnarayan. See if I can find you, right? Oops. Let me try that again. And Jason. Let me see if this works. Right, so we have 2 people in group 1 with Jason.
I don't mind being it now.
You don't mind being a third? Who's I?
Sanjay.
Sanjay. Lakan. Ram Lakan. Alright.
So you can add me also.
Who that? Stacy
Please.
George? Alright.
Son, don't forget Nikita's son, but they have Mohammed.
Okay, say that again because you're breaking up.
The listing that you have Nikita Mohammed, but I am Nikita Stewart, so it's the same thing.
Or you wanna add you? You wanna be added to this group?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chanel, I'm seeing your hand up. What is your hand up for?
So you can add me.
Well, I can't add any more, that's 5 there already.
So and it's a one group of 6.
Yeah, but we can't be the first group with 6. What
So
Alright,
I
hold on,
need.
we'll hold.
Nothing
Alright, hold
wrong.
on. Right, Jason, you get your lippy at the moment. Right, relax. 2 seconds. Let me see if I can create some other groups. All right, Devnish, you want or anybody else willing to start up a next group? We have some people already in it.
So I would like to be added to yeah, okay.
Say again.
I would like to be added to group 2. Yeah, okay.
Hackett. Um, Anybody else wants to join Hackett?
Christine to know.
Christine.
So I would also like to be in this group. Honorata.
Anurag. Okay, hold on. I can't see all the names right now. All right, Anuradha.
Not if early tomorrow.
I don't know. Are we? I see Sparkle wants to go there with this group. Sparkle, out of necessity, I want to separate you and Shakira, right? All right, let me add this for now. Somebody else said they wanted to be here with.
So Christine, sit down.
All right. For whatever reason, I can't seem to find you.
You was on it.
There it is.
Okay.
All right. So that's 4 people in group 4 so far. Aaliyah, you wanted to go in this group? See a hand going
Yes.
up and up. Aaliyah Rampasad. Okay, add that. Okay, let's go back to groups. Let me bring up group 3. All right, who wants to lead up another group? Right, I see Gabrielle wants to go in a group.
Hi, sir.
All right, let me add you. Okay, I see
You can add Priya.
Priya as well.
Yes, please.
Priya, I see Taylor's hand is up. And, right, somebody's hand went back down. Right, let me add these for now. So Priya, Nayak, and Taylor. Anybody wants to join them who's not in a group already? Either put your hand up
So,
because
how about Isaac and Williams?
How about Isaac and Williams? You see, May put her hand up before you.
Well, I don't see the next group then.
This next group, okay. All right. We have 4 here. Anybody wants to join? May have joined. I've put you in group 4, group 3 already. Okay, if you could put your hand down. Put your hand down. All right. All right, Jada, you want to join this group?
Yes, sir.
Right, cool. So you're in that group. Back to groups. We go to group 4. Add and remove members. So Devnish, sorry, and who again?
Miss Williams.
Miss Williams, Lizelle. All right, I see 2 other hands. Batiste. All right, hold up right there. Nobody move. Batiste, Rashawn Bailey, and Jagannath. See, Jagannath's hand went back down. All right, so 5 in this group here. Rashawn Bailey, Batiste, Isaac, Jagannath, and Williams. Yes, Mr. Batiste. You're in a group already. All right. So
My bad.
that's okay. That's okay. All right, we have the last group to set up now, and then we can decide what to do. So we have Kelly, Ali, Bonnet, Shakira Dawlat, McQueen, Ashley Ramdas, and Vincent St. John. And okay, and that's a group of 6. Okay, so everybody got their groupings. So group 6, let me see if I can copy this information here. Back to groups. All right, so group 1 is Jason Dover, Stacy George, Nikita Mohammed, Sanjay Ramlakan, and Shireen Rupnarain. Group 2 is Sparkle Dawlat, Rihanna Hackett, Anuradha Ramjag, Aliyah Rampasad, and Christine Sudan. Group 5 is Jada Gordon, Priya Khan, Shadel May, Gabrielle Nayak, and Tasia Taylor. Group 4 is Rashawn Bailey, Mr. Batiste, Devnish Isaac, Denisha Jagannath, and Lizelle Williams. And group 5 has 6 people: Kelly Ali, who may have fallen off the class, so we're going to have to reach out to each other. Chanel Bonnet, Shakira Dawlat, sorry, Colleen McQueen, Ashley Ramdas, and Vincent St. John. Okay, so your jobs by the next class that we meet, or even before, is to do you all have any preferences of what countries you all would like to research? Maybe we can get that done tonight one time. Or come up with a list of about 3 countries each that you want to research. Start to talk to each other.
And Nikita, what do you think about Russia and Shireen? Same country, like stuff.
Right, I see subgroups setting up.
Got
Here.
you.
So the second listing here, I put a listing of the the groups into the WhatsApp chat, so you all will know who falls into which group. Kind of the first one was a little messy. All right. Okay. So why I'm asking this is because I don't want people duplicating countries, and I'd prefer you stay away from the country you did last semester with your microeconomics because I know you all did some work with them before, right? All right. Jason, you guys coming up with any ideas? Let me give you all about 5 minutes and come back to me with some countries that you all want to look at. At least 3 countries. You don't have to be hard and fast with it at this point in time. And things could change based upon that. But I want to take note of which country, which group wants to look at which countries, because you could choose about 3 countries, then start to do some general research on it. What you're looking for is the availability, the ease and availability of information, how easy it is for you to get that information based upon the requirements for the class, for the for these the assignment that you all have to do. You want to be looking at that. Okay. Let me give you all the 5 minutes there for you all to determine what you want to do. Remember, I'm still recording, so I'm going to be posting all of this onto the e-classroom so that anybody who missed this section can go it over in terms of instructions for assignments and that type of stuff. Because I know some people were here and then they kind of fell off. So any groups coming up with any selections? Right. All right. I see subgroups already starting to form on the WhatsApp chat. That's excellent. Jason, anything coming to mind?
Yes, um, Trinidad and Tobago.
No, forget Trinidad. Leave out Trinidad. I'll give you all some advice. You want to leave out Trinidad and Tobago simply because it's kind of overdone and it kind of gives you an unfair advantage. I prefer you all look at countries outside of Trinidad and Tobago because that will broaden your perspectives. It could be countries that you've had some sort of personal dealing with already. So maybe you've traveled to the country that might be useful.
Um, any CARICOM
Yes,
countries?
it could be CARICOM as well. So you could do a short listing, a country from the CARICOM region and countries from outside the CARICOM, Europe, the Americas, the Pacifics, the Asians, that kind of stuff. Countries that we tend to overdo here a bit is India, China, and the United States. Those countries you kind of overdo a lot.
So Guyana is good.
Say again?
Guyana, Russia, Ukraine, Europe.
Guyana. All right, hold on. Which group are you with?
Group 1.
You with group 1? Um, so what countries you all looking at? Guyana. All right. That's an interesting country to do some work on because they're in big flux at this point in time. Who else? You have
So,
to have,
Cuba could work.
Yeah, you could use Cuba. What
Okay.
group are you with?
Group 1, so well, I'm gonna make sure that works.
All right.
And I guess England, country.
Yep, you could do them too. Anybody from group 2 has some selections?
Yes, sir.
All
We
right.
thinking Canada.
All right, hold on. I want to take note. CANA. Canada, yes. Who again? Yes, Canada and another. Who else?
So Japan.
Japan.
I'm not sure if any other group member wanna add in a last one.
Yep, that'd be a good thing. Try CARICOM country. Think about countries you want to learn a little more about. That's my advice to you guys. Gabrielle, you have something you wanted to say? Gabrielle?
So this is for group 3.
All right, well, hold on. Hold on with group 3. I'm working on group 2. All right, well, hold on. Let me just save those changes and go to group 3. All right, group 3 is ready. So, Nayak, give me the countries. Gabrielle?
Yes, sir.
Yes, give me the countries.
We were thinking Switzerland,
Hold on.
Korea,
Hold.
South Korea, sir.
Not North? Okay.
North Korea is not a country.
Yes, it is actually. So South Korea, what's the first one you said? Switzerland?
Switzerland.
How you spell Switzerland? SW
Sir,
I Switzer. I think this is it.
no, sir. SW.
All right, I got it
Alright.
here. Yeah, I have a spell check there. And what again?
And Barbados.
Barbados. All right, those are some good selections, right?
Thank
All right, let's
you.
save that. Group 4 has any countries?
So you can come back to we in like 2 minutes, please.
Yeah, fine, not a problem. What about group 5? Okay, so then back to group 2. You all had Canada and Japan so far.
So we just on a carry camera. I think we're going with Jamaica.
Jamaica, all right, okay. Jamaic. Okay, that's good. All right, so group 1 has 3, group 3 has 3, group 2 has 3. Group 4 and 5 still to give us some feedback. How are we going, group 4 and 5?
Yes, sir. Just one week.
Cool, no worries.
2 seconds.
Y'all let subgrouping already, right? So the group 1, you all have, well, Cuba, Guyana, and England. Did Jason, you all wanted to look at any change to that lineup?
Yes, sir. Possibly, we could end up changing somebody comes here because getting some other options like Singapore, China, Belgium, Brazil, Australia.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
You want me to drop off Cuba and add some of those things, or drop off Guyana and add some of those things?
yeah, I think we should countries that
English speaking?
forthcoming. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, English speaking would be useful, yeah.
yeah.
So England, Guyana, what's the other ones you all have? Australia? T R
Yes,
R A L I A. Australia.
Singapore. Do they speak English in Singapore?
I think they do, but you can check it out. Singapore, and what was the other one? Belgium?
Yes, sir. China.
No, left China alone.
All right.
China is overdone. All right, Belgium. All right, you all have 5 countries to choose from. All right, I given you all that, but you all would need to rule out people faster. So by the third week of the semester, you all need to rule out and downgrade to one country, so that you don't spend too much time willy nilly and all over the place.
So what are the five again that you have with us?
Guyana, England, Australia, Singapore, and Belgium.
Nice.
All right. Group 2 has Canada, Japan, Jamaica. Group 3 has South Korea, Switzerland, and Barbados. Group 4 and 5 still to give me some feedback.
I said group 5, we have Mexico, Monaco, and Panama.
Okay, hold on, selector. Mexico, EXIC. Mexico,
Monaco, and Panama.
Okay, you need to spell that second one for me.
Monaco.
MONAC. Monaco. Is that how that's pronounced? And Panama, you said, huh? Panama. Wow. Anybody in your group speak Spanish? I mean, I guess you all could get Google Google Translate. All right. Any feedback from group 4?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Talk to me.
All right. For group 4, we're choosing between Italy, France,
Italy?
and Lebanon. Yeah,
Italy, France,
and Lebanon.
Lebanon. Wow.
Mhm.
LEB, Lebanon, BANON, I think. Um, I've never seen anybody do research on Lebanon. Okay, so every group has selected a group of countries that they're interested in doing some research. Remember, you have to choose from this list one final one. So what you want to do is spend some time doing some research on each of the countries. Now you can either tackle it all together or as a group, hand out different countries and see um, how easy it is to find economic information about these countries um, online, because of course you can't travel to these places, and find out the information that is required for the text that you want to for the information required for the what do you call it, the information required for the assignment that you'll have to do. So correlate the questions you're looking at and start to look at the how easy it is for you to find that type of information for each of the countries. By the third week, that's after carnival then, I want to say, because you all know we're closing the school off. So I'm seeing you all on the 7th, which is next week. But then the week following, um, is the 14th. We have a I can't meet you on the 14th, but I want to see you all on the 21st. So the 21st is the next scheduled meeting date. If we look at our course schedule, the next scheduled meeting date is the 21st of Feb. I'm talking rubbish here. Yes, the 21st of February. I'd like some feedback, either in a class session or in a online WhatsApp communication as to which countries you all are finalizing, and I'll update the the web the online the e-classroom with that. Yeah, I have the next session. The next planned session is the 21st of February. Okay, so I'm not planning to do a session with you all next week, which is the 7th, unless there's anybody who wants to, have a have a chat with me about some issue that they're coming with during this time frame on a Wednesday evening. If you are having an issue and you want a one-on-one, this is the perfect time for us to meet because I'm scheduled time for this class. All right. Um, but the school closes from the 9th to the 14th, so I will be able to the next class then basically live class so the 21st. I'll call a session on that day and see how you all are going. We okay with that? So by the 21st, you all need to finalize one country that you want to look at out of that list that you have there. All right, so start with some basic research. The first thing you want to do is to look at how easy it is to find data. Um, and then the second thing you want to determine is how how reliable that information is going to be. All right, so there are some places in which you can go to, like the CIA World Factbook, the IMF websites, the links that I have for the World Bank on the document there. Those are really good for getting the financial data that you're going to need, like the export and import figures, the GDP growth rates, percentage values, that type of stuff, so that you can look and see how easy it is and what the countries look like, and just do some general reading. So what you're looking for is for yes, we could choose a difficult country, but at the end of the day, you don't want to give yourself that many challenges to work on over the semester. Okay, so we kind of wrapping it up at this point in time. Anybody has any questions, concerns that they're seeing, or you think at this point in time you all on understand everything required of yourselves for the semester?
I think I understand.
All right. Okay, so anybody else? All right. Now feel free to reach out to me if you have any sort of individual issue or if you're seeing an issue across the board. As I said, this time slot on a Wednesday is set aside for you guys. So we could do one-to-one sessions if you want. If you're having an issue with some content or that kind of stuff, we could always meet and kind of go through some stuff, if you need it. But look at the schedule. Maybe you could do that extract and print that page with the schedule and the guidelines for the dates for each of the units and follow through with that. If you stay on that schedule, you should be on top of things across the board. All right. Okay, well, that being said, I think I could stop the recording at this point, unless anybody wants to add anything or um, ask any further issues. Everybody's good? All right, I'll stop the recording.